Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to math class with me, Miss Taylor. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see, are we ready for math? Do we have our fact practice packet? I've got mine right underneath here, fact practice. Textbook, got my textbook here and workbook. And then some paper and a pencil or your whiteboard. I like to write on my whiteboard. We're going to do a little bit of practice, so you might want to get out your whiteboard, a whiteboard marker, and some kind of a little eraser. You could use like I have a black sock that I like to use. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is our fact practice packet. So I have mine here, and we are working on our math fact practice packet number 3. And today we are doing page 15. So that looks like this. We're on page 15 today, and today is December 7th. So I'm going to go ahead and write my date up here at the top. And then, of course we need our ruler. I forgot to mention that. So we're going to use our ruler to practice measuring in centimeters. And when we are measuring with our ruler, we want to make sure that we're looking at the small numbers up at the top. There are about 30 of them on our ruler, and actually about 30 and a half, almost 31. But a centimeter, remember, is the teeny tiny ones, teeny tiny centimeter. And then on the other side, if we swing it around this way, these bigger spaces, these are inches. So for an inch, I like to do like my 2 fingers. Some people like to do like the top part of their thumb is also an inch, about an inch. But we're going to practice with centimeters today. So remember, when you are measuring your centimeters, you have to make sure you line it up to that 0 mark. And that is that little line right there. So when we line it up there, just like that, so I'm going to line up this line with the edge of my bar there. And then I'm going to see how long this bar is, and it stops right by the 14. So this one is 14 centimeters long. Let's see this next one. Let's make sure Miss Taylor did this correctly. There we go. I've lined it up at the 0 mark. And it ends very, very close to that 16 centimeters. Let's do one more together. So we'll line it up here, and then it looks like, oh, look at that. It's the same as this one. And you may have already figured that out, because if we do a little dotted line here, we can see those are the same lengths. So 14 centimeters. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, Miss Taylor. Look at this one. It's the same as this one. 16 centimeters. We better do one more. Why don't we do this little teeny tiny one? Ooh, maybe you can make a prediction first. Wow. That is a cute little teeny tiny, I think it's a teeny tiny centimeter, is it? Oh, let's see. It is. So we've lined it up with the 0 mark, and it stops right here. This longer line is the 1. So this is 1 centimeter. All right, so let's go ahead. You can pause the video if you want to finish your fact practice, or if you want to do it after the video, that's fine too. So there is our fact practice for today, and we only have one more page for tomorrow, just a little bit more practice with measuring centimeters, and then we're going to move on to fact packet number 4. So that'll be fun. Oh, I forgot to mention, we should also check our answers on the back. So we did the first 5 together. We could kind of quickly check. Yep, we got 14, 16, 14, 16, and 1 centimeter. We were correct. So you could give yourself a little star, a little check mark, if you'd like to. Okay, so I should mention tomorrow we're going to have a little quiz on, let's see, what is our quiz on? Inches and yards and feet, I think. But tomorrow is going to be our last day of doing our fact practice, page 16, like I said, and then we will move on to fact practice number 4. So you might want to start looking for that one, so you have a couple days to find it if it's in your room somewhere. that will be, so we'll be starting this packet number 4 on Thursday. So, alrighty, so today we are going to look in our textbook. We have a little review to work on today, and we are going to look at page 74 in our textbook, so 74 and 75. And on page 74 and 75, there are a lot of review questions. In fact, it starts at number 1, and number 1 has an A and a B and a C. And then number 2 has an A and a B and a C. And this would take us a pretty long time to do. So what I would suggest is maybe just to pick one column and work through some of these. And then we could go on and do kind of the word problems where we have to do a little bit more of the thinking process and things like that. So, and you can do it on paper or you can do it on your whiteboard. So like I said, I would probably just pick one of these columns to work through and do a little practice with. So maybe let's do a couple together. Now, this one, we have 285 plus 9. So with this one, we want to make sure when we're doing it the vertical way, using the vertical algorithm, that we're lining up our numbers correctly, because we're adding 9. So we want to make sure that's 9 ones. And then we always start in the ones place, and we always start at the top. If we have 5 ones plus 9 ones, oh, I'm going to scoot one over here to make a 10. So I'm kind of thinking of my 5, as a 4 and a 1. And then I've got here 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Now I can't put 14 here, so I'm going to have to rename it as 1 10 and 4 ones. Now, do we still have 14? Yep, because this is a 10 plus 4. All right, and then we have 8 10s plus 1 10 is 9 10s, and 2 hundreds plus nothing is 2. If it helps you, you can kind of put zeros here just to kind of help so that we don't get our digits mixed up there. 294. All right. And then we might pick, we could pick a subtraction one to do. This one looks like a good one. Why don't we try this one? 337 minus 208. All right, so we could try this one. And then I'm going to do my lines to separate. I like to do my little arrow here. 7 minus 8 is 1. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 3 minus 2 is 1. Woohoo! That was quick. Done. Wait, what? Do I have a mistake? How dare you? How dare you say I have a mistake? Oh, I think you're right. I do have a mistake, don't I? Did you catch that? Yeah, nice job, second graders. Yeah, if I only have 7 on the top, I can't take away 8. Because if I only have 5, 6, 7, I can't take away 8 of them. I can only take away 7. So we have to do some renaming, don't we? We have to go next door and get some more. I'm going to make this a 2 so I can take one of these 10s and put it over here. There we go. Now at the top, do we still have 337? 337, because now we have 320 plus 17. 320 plus 17. Oh yeah, we do. We still have 337. So remember, we're not changing the number, we're just renaming it. All right, so 17 minus 8, now I can do this. If I have 17, I can take away 8. 17, take away 7 is 10, and one more is 9. There we go. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, that makes sense. And that is our answer. Now, if we wanted to check it, we could add these 2 parts and see if they get the whole number. So as a way to check our work, it's always prudent to check our work. So I'm going to take these 2 parts and add them together. Let's see, 208 plus 129, 8 plus 9. Well, I know 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 1 more is 17. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. And 200 plus 100 is 3. Let's see, does our answer check out? Yeah, 337, and that's our whole number that we started with. Give yourself a check, give yourself a smile. All right, so Now, like I said, you might want to just pick one column to sort of work through there, and then we can get to the good stuff here. The good stuff are kind of these problems where we have to do a little reading and thinking and kind of figuring these out. So number 6 says these are regular patterns of numbers. What are the missing numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8, something, 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 16, 20. You know what, second graders? Well, let me ask you, do you notice something interesting about this one? Let's see, the numbers, first of all, when we're figuring out the rule, we're thinking about, are they getting bigger or smaller? They're getting bigger. By how much? By 2, you're right. Because 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10, right? 10 plus 2 is 12. We could also think of it as skip counting by 2s, right? So we've got 10, 12, 14, 16. Wait a second. There's a little mistake in our book. Isn't that fun when you find out, oh, wait a second, that's a mistake. It shouldn't be 20. What should it be, second graders? Yeah, it should be 18 and then 20. See, even textbooks make mistakes sometimes. And that is okay because we can learn a lot from our mistakes, can't we? So, it's okay, textbook. I make mistakes too, right? All right, now this one, we have 500, 490, 480. So when we're thinking about this rule, are we getting bigger or smaller? Yeah, we're getting smaller this time. I'm going to write my numbers over here. And we notice we're getting smaller. So we are subtracting. I'm going to put a little minus sign here. And what are we subtracting by? Let's see, 500, subtracting something to get to 490. And then 490, we're subtracting something to get to 480. Yeah, let's look in that tens place, right? It's going from 90 to 80. So we're subtracting by 10. So that is the rule. Now we can figure out the missing numbers in this regular number pattern. So 500 minus 10 is 490. 490 minus 10 is 480. 480 minus 10 is 470. And then we have 460. And let's see, how far are we supposed to go? So we got 480, 470, 460, 450, 440, 430, and 420. Nice job, second graders. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Ooh, we have some measuring. Oh, I like measuring. So number 7 says, which is longer, the paintbrush or the key? Well, wait a second. Now you'll notice that neither of these objects starts at the 0 mark. So remember, anytime we're measuring, we really should start at the 0 mark. Otherwise, we can't just say, oh, it's 9 centimeters long, because it didn't start at the 0 mark. So there is something else we can do. We can count the spaces. We can kind of count the hops. And we're not going to write in our textbook, but if I wanted to, I could sort of line up my whiteboard here, and I can see it's starting at the 1 and it's stopping at the 9. And we're going to count these spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 spaces. So the paintbrush is 8 centimeters long. Now there's another thing we can do. We can say, well, it stops at the 9 centimeter and it started at the 1. So another thing we can do is say 9 minus 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. The paintbrush is 8 centimeters. All right, so paintbrush, 8 centimeters. And the key, and again, we're going to count the spaces. Or maybe I can line it up here. And I'm going to count the spaces of the key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the key is only 7 centimeters. And another way we can do it is we can see, well, where does it stop? It stops at the 12, and it starts at the 5. So 12 minus 5 is 7. So which is longer, the paintbrush or the key? Paintbrush, right? The total length of the paintbrush and the key is, so the total length, we're going to add them together. And 8 plus 7, let's see, I know 8 plus 8 is 16. So 8 plus 7 would be 15. So together, they would be 15 centimeters. And the total length of two similar keys is blank centimeters. What that means is if you had two keys just like this, what would that be? Well, let's see, we know the key is 7 centimeters. So if you had two keys, that would be 14 centimeters. So if you had two of the keys, that would be 14 centimeters. All right. So let's do a couple more. These are kind of fun. Number 8 says a bridge is 6 yards long. Ooh, let's see. Remember we had, if you stretch your arms way out, mighty meter, the mighty meter, the wimpy yard. Mighty meter, wimpy yard. Now the yard is not really that wimpy. It's just a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter than a meter. And we also know that a yard is the same as 3 rulers. Right? 3 of these rulers equals 1 yard. And a ruler is 1 foot. So we know that 3 feet equals 1 yard. Yes, we know that. All right, so we know 3 feet equals 1 yard. I think that's going to help us in this problem. Let's keep reading. So a bridge is 6 yards long. Is it more than, less than, or the same as 6 feet long? So this bridge is 6 yards long. And we know that 1 yard is 3 feet. So we're trying to find out, well, what would be the same as 6 yards? Let's see. If 1 yard is 3 feet, then 6 yards would be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Let's see, is that enough threes? This is 1 yard, 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yard, 4 yard, 5 yards. Oops, I need some more. I need another. So remember, each of these are feet. 3 feet plus 3 feet plus 3 feet, because each of these, each yard is 3 feet. Whoops. Feet, I should say feet. Okay, so feet. So we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Well, let's see. I know this is 6 and 6 and 6. And 6 and 6 is 12. Plus 6 more is 18. So 18 feet is the same as 6 yards. All right, so now we can go back to our problem here. Is it more than, less than, or the same as 6 feet long? Well, the bridge, this bridge that is 6 yards long, is the same as 18 feet. So that is more than 6 feet long. Part B says, is it more than, less than, or the same as 6 meters long? 6 meters long. Well, let's see. If the bridge is 3 yards, and we know the mighty meter is a little bit bigger than the wimpy yard, then we know that 6 yards is a little bit smaller. So we could say 6 yards is a little bit less than 6 meters, right? I haven't done this in a while. The open mouth, he wants to eat the big one. And 6 yards is bigger. The mighty meter, the wimpy yards. So the bridge is a little bit less than 6 meters. All right, so I think we're going to pause there for now. I would like you to try a few more, see if you can read through some of these on this page. You do not need to do all of them, but it's really good thinking practice, kind of reading through these, thinking about the steps. And then your homework for today is pages 79 to 81. So page 79 starts here. All right, pages 79 to 81. Okay, so here you're going to write greater than or less than. So we could do a couple of these real quick together. And remember, when we're doing this kind of problem, we want the open mouth to eat the bigger one. So like this little open mouth, you could even draw teeth if you want. He wants to eat this one. 601 is greater than 599. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to stop this. My computer is being funny, isn't it?